Hello and welcome to Pau in the southwest of France for the International Canoe Federation's third Slalom World Cup of the 2016 season. It's finals time. This morning we've witnessed just in front of us course side the very dynamic C1 women and men and the K1 men semi-finals. A few surprises. Luckily for fans of the sport, most of the big names have made it through with a few exceptions. I'm going to talk you through the action for the next couple of hours. I'm Matthew Layton. I'm joined by my guests who have already seen about 50 races, so they know exactly what's going on here. Patrick Washer from New Zealand, Spencer Pomeroy from Canada. How are you?
Good.
Good, happy to be back.
Well, you can see the course. We've had a lot of rain down it this morning. This is just the finish, and we've seen crucial sections. Temperature 14. Well, they're being kind. It's gradually moving up. Humidity 87. I don't know what that means because it's been raining most of the actual morning. Really hard. The actual course 4, 7, 12, 17, 18, 22 are the upstream gates. 23 gates in total. A lot of water coming down. This course, built in 2008. Is the home for the French national team. It's a very well respected course around the world, and the first event we're going to go and see today is the canoe slalom final. We saw the semi-finals on this exact course. All the athletes have been down once before, and here they are. This is the standings of the World Cup after the two events so far in Ivrea and Laseo. So it's the combination of the point system, which are dramatically complicated, but it shows that Alexander Stokowski is the top dog at the moment. Let's see if we're going to have the lineups of the C1 before I let you you take your picture. Here we go. This is the reverse order we're going to so the actual order we're going to see them going in the finals starting in a couple of minutes. Spencer, your thoughts?
I think we have a nice mix here. We have some young athletes, Zachary Loken in his first final here at a World Cup event, as well as some veterans, Slavkovsky, as well as Benush, Pesce. So I think it's going to be some good racing, and I'm excited to see if anyone can get close to Benush's first run,
which is effectively 4 or 5 seconds quicker than anyone else.
Yeah.
So Patrick, you're a young gun yourself. Zach, is he going to be absolutely bricking it or excited?
I'd expect he'd be pretty nervous on the start line. I hope he has his mental techniques to relax him down packed, because if he doesn't, he may well struggle. So yeah.
Yeah, I had a quick word with him in between runs. I didn't want to take up too much of his time, but he was excited, happy to be in this position, I think. And, I mean, either way, he'll be happy to have the experience of racing a final.
It certainly would be an exciting prospect, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it is really getting to your semi is kind of your first stepping stone, but then it's a big jump to get to the final just due to the competitiveness of the event.
Yeah, and he's with quite a field up here. It's not an easy final to make this weekend.
It's generally always sort of the top 15 in the world that get through, but no, he's done well, and so far he's on a pretty good run. Taking his time, but clean, and got the boat running. So yeah.
Yeah, I think clean run going to be key again here on the second runs in the final for the C1 men, and looks like he's keeping the boat moving so far. So good.
Yeah, I'd say he's perhaps a bit hesitant in how he's pedaling, but so far it seems to be working out.
Yeah, it looks like he is going out there a little more cautious than we saw him in the semi-final. I think he's looking to put together something clean and just nice and stable.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd say that.
In your first final, I don't know that's a bad way to go at it.
Yeah, no,
He's looking great down here at the tough bottom section of the course.
But yeah, so far pretty online.
Ooh, a little touch there on downstream, got back online. Pretty quick, actually, looking at his time here.
Yeah, no, he's got a bit stuck up there. He would have cost himself a bit of time going onto the wave, so he's taking the slightly safer approach, because if he was to go out of the upper and exit on the back of the wave, he would save time, but it's a bit riskier.
Well, Zach Logan made the final, which is already a victory in itself. As you said, took a slightly cautious approach and maybe lived to regret it, but in general had a damn good weekend's work.
Yeah, exactly. I think he may be a little upset with that touch, but you saw the little wave at the end there, so I think he's happy to be here. And
10 was it 109?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad time, but we'll wait and see how it sticks.
Well, Takuya Haneda from Japan, who's based for many years now in Slovakia, just about to come up.
Certainly someone who can keep up with the other big hitters here. I think he'll be looking to better his first run time.
You can always identify me as the trademark very straight top arm that he holds the top of his pedal with. It's always very very straight, and it just is a bit peculiar, but it seems to be pretty effective if he's making the finals.
Yeah, and he whipped around in the turn in 4 there. He's carrying a lot of speed, which is really important, especially in the top section. If you can use that water to keep the boat running,
Yeah,
and you can stay on line and take
three
advantage,
seconds up.
it's going to be really helpful.
So he sort of, you see how he's paddling, he sort of is backing himself perhaps a little bit more than Lachlan was, and that's slightly reflected in his time. He's a bit more confident, he's pulling a bit harder.
But still having a very smooth run through this course. You can see that he's pushing it, but he's keeping it under control at the same time.
So almost someone who expects to be in the final and would like to have a medal.
Yeah.
He's definitely going out there trying to put up a time that's going to get him on the podium.
Good spin.
See where he is coming through. Up on the split, almost 4 seconds.
He would have lost a bit of time there, I think, opposed to if he just tracked into the up naturally.
And that's something we've seen throughout the morning. I think there's been a few people come down and coming through 16, they get caught on that eddy line, have struggled getting back to the upright, but he managed to keep it up a little bit. He's still on track for a nice run down the bottom section of the course.
Well, apart from Mate Benish, who took the court apart, we haven't really seen anyone else master, have we? So this is looking to be a good time.
Yeah, certainly wanted to be up there, and even
Although with the French in the final, I mean, you can never be too sure. See that there? Now that's a good time.
7 seconds up on Zach, and
That's competitive.
clean run. I think that'll be definitely up there.
So we've now seen this course. We saw 30 semi-finalists with the men, 20 with the women, and 40 with the K1 men. We've seen, in general, there's the first section is quite fun and you can lose but you can't win. It really is the last 20 seconds of paddling that really makes it and breaks it.
Certainly a big factor. Yeah, we've also seen a lot of time made up through gate 10 down through 15 kind of area as well. There's open space where you can sprint, but there's also a couple of moves that are pretty crucial to get bang on.
Well, you can see here, good pedigree, Anze Bergic from Slovenia.
Definitely want to watch. See what he do.
Looks very confident coming down the start. He's got his plan. I think he'll be.
Yeah, he's always a bit of a flamboyant paddler. I think you can expect some big turns and some exciting paddling from him.
Well, crucially, had 2 or 3 seasons where he couldn't actually get on the podium. They won 2 events in a row and almost said, well, that's it for me. See if he can come back again.
Yeah, I mean he's still pretty young, so plenty of career. Because in C1s you can paddle well, into your 30s if you're world class. So it's still plenty of time ahead of him. So far, going pretty
Really
good.
nice spin there. Gate 11, use the wave, comes in nice and high to 12. That's pretty much the ideal line if you're taking the spin right there. Some people have been struggling with that, falling off the back of the wave a little bit or coming in low to the up, but he was bang on. Same line we saw him take on the first run, dropping in a little more to the hole than some other paddlers, but using it to his advantage to have a nice approach for the dive on the right.
He's struggling there on the eddy line. He pulls it back, but it's not ideal. A bit low into that. Good cross.
Did a great job of just putting a little bit of stern down on the exit from gate 18, the upstream, and kind of pushed the boat around, gave him a little extra speed coming across.
Perhaps not as flamboyant as I was expecting him. I think maybe it seems like there's a common trend of just trying to put down a solid, stable run so far, I think.
Stay off those poles and be on line. I think it's a good recipe.
Well, as you can see, it might be a recipe for a medal, but it's not the recipe to win. 4 seconds almost, well, 3.39 back off the course. It goes fast, doesn't it? It only takes half an hour for them all to come down. And after 3 athletes, it is Takuya Haneda from Japan leading, Franz Anton from Germany next to go.
I expect Haneda's time to be a very competitive one, if not one for the podium.
Yeah, he was pushing quite hard. You could see that he was really pulling on that course, but still maintaining good lines, and I think that's really important. It'll be interesting to see with some of the other paddlers what approach they take.
Well, as you can see from the graphics in Deep Creek, he had a very, very good performance, taking the bronze medal. Part of the famous now combination with Jan Benzin, who are going to Rio.
Pretty aggressively up top. It was really nice. In and out of the upstream. Ooh.
Big toe.
Could hurt him, but he'll be looking to speed it up after that, so you never know, maybe he'll fly down the rest of the course. A couple seconds back on the top split.
Although he's only 26, he's fairly experienced, so I'd expect him to be able to hold it together and pull out a few. Yeah, see, look, nice.
Beautiful. Took advantage going up the bogey option on gate 11, and then sped across nice and high for gate 12, and was in and out on the backstroke very quickly.
That's about the best we've seen so far.
Yeah, I'd say it's one of them for sure.
Unfortunately, I think, see that was tight, but I think the 2 touches is really going to hurt him.
He lost his edge there, lost some speed, lost his line, so he'll be trying to get back on track, but I think the chance for the podium might be slipping away from him.
And it's not going to happen today.
No.
It's less than desirable.
Well, 4 athletes now, well, almost completed the course. And so far, like you both said, there's no one's really grabbed it, well, apart from Hanida, who was the second down.
No.
Yeah, he's got a commanding lead at the moment.
It'll be interesting to see if anyone goes sort of balls to the wall and risks it for the biscuit, because so far everyone's pretty placid.
Got another young paddler coming up next, Adam Burgess, who's had some experience in the final, so I think that he'll be really pushing and going to have another good run.
Well, he's determination, isn't he? He's really a professional athlete.
Absolutely.
Was in the C2 for a while with Greg Pitt, but look at him. You say he's a coffee fanatic.
Yeah, no, he is the local coffee connoisseur. You see the picture on your screen. He's very bitter about it because he happened to get caught in a rain shower, so it wasn't just making quite so photogenic. But yeah, no, he's certainly likes coffee, that boy. We'll see what he can do.
Yeah, he had a nice first run. He was very pleased at the bottom, solidly in the final.
Yep.
So he had a couple little areas where I think he could have sped up, and he'll definitely be looking to capitalize on that. But for the most part, he was pretty happy.
Yep.
He did do that move direct on the first run. And speaking with him in between, he thought the spin was a little bit safer and also not necessarily slower. So I think that was a good choice by him.
No, he's an exceptionally talented paddler. I think I'm correct in saying that he made a final in 2012, but then he had I can't remember the details, but he had a very severe back injury, and it really, maybe a stress fracture or something, and he had to take some time off, and he's struggled a bit to get back, just because, having time off, it's just hard. But he's really starting to hit his straps.
Yeah, he looks like he's in good form here. The one touch at the top, not ideal, but he's had a smoking run other than that. Great through 14-15. Pops nicely off the stern, keeps his speed. Oh, there we see another paddler getting his bow caught on the eddy line. That really kind of pulls you to the left, so it throws you offline and kills your speed.
And that's reflected as, a lot of people, when they have those not so desirable lines through 16, they're then low into 17. So it's,
and especially
flow on effects.
This part of the course, you're limited on energy. It's hard to fix a move like that. Makes you even more tired for the bottom.
Well, 182.37 is the gold medal position at the moment. With 189 would be enough to have you on the podium. So far,
yeah,
would be on the podium.
He'll be on the podium, but yeah, he'll be so-so about that.
Well, there's half a crazy horse.
Half a crazy horse, yeah. Not quite as enthusiastic as his first run.
So the brief is, if you do something exceptionally well, you give it the full crazy horse.
I suppose so.
It comes from a little-known New Zealand movie called Boy. There was this guy called Shogun who did those crazy horses. Adam Burgess has spent the last summer in New Zealand, and I think he picked up a few of the Kiwi mannerisms and tricks of the trail.
Next to go, the powerhouse, Nicolas Peschier.
Yeah, I think he's very comfortable here, and he's
very experienced,
Absolutely. So I think that he'll go out like he usually does. Very quick strokes, very powerful, and really attack the course.
It is his home course too, as you just saw. So.
And one of the few athletes which will almost certainly be going to the next 4 or 5 Olympic Games.
Yeah.
As he's turning into a professional photographer afterwards.
Nice job there. I like the way he did a little turn on his offside above the gate, then went onside and took advantage of his edge to really push himself over. Unfortunately, had a little hiccup in the upstream.
He'll be disappointed, but it looks like now he's starting to pick it up, but he's starting to take some slightly riskier lines like he's on the spin. He committed to it quite early on, which is risky because you can't see the gate, but if you pull it off, it's much faster. There he's getting
Good patience with the swirly water in that section.
It's tight. It's stuck in the way.
Very powerful paddler though, and you can see if he's slightly offline, he really works to get back there. Quick strokes and all the muscle he can put into it.
I have a teammate who's really rooting for him to win because Nico he hates running. He just doesn't go running. And my teammate's all for that approach.
I think on a course like this, a good level of fitness is very important, especially down this section. So
Well, he's making time up, even though he has a 2-second penalty. He's really fighting his way back in.
that was a very good cross there. He really pushed deep on that gate 18, used the faster water towards the outside of the eddy. So as a powerful paddler, he's still doing his best to let the water do the work for him.
And after 90 seconds, still able to pump those strokes forward.
This will be a competitive time. I don't think it'll beat Anita, but it'll be close to it.
Well, it's going to power the line. It's certainly going to be close,
Actually,
if not first.
We'll beat him.
There,
Wow.
and with the penalty too. So that's a quick run. I'm sure he'll be regretting gate 4, but
Still,
Exactly. You're probably almost reading his mind there.
yeah. Sitting there thinking, why the touch?
Well, if we see one Frenchman who knows how to put down a fast time, last year's winner here is Pierre-Antoine Thiard, and he's just about to start, I believe.
he'll certainly be one to watch. He is probably the most flamboyant paddler in this final in terms of his style of how he paddles. But yeah.
So one last week in the C2, one last year in the C1.
Yeah, no, he's really accomplished, and he'll definitely be a local favourite.
Luckily for him, the rain stopped, so he'll have.
Oh, that's not good.
We'll leave that to the judges, but
We'll have to see what happens there, but he's certainly
tight.
cutting the line quite tight, wasn't he?
Flamboyant from the start, no messing around.
You can tell he's attacking it. He's trying to take those really tight lines, and unfortunately, there he's got a.
That 50 will be protested because
Well, with the demo runners yesterday, I was watching it, and probably over half the demo runners missed out gate number 2 and number 20 when they were trying to neck it.
Yeah, it's a tough one. You're really trying to cut the line there because if you can have a nicer approach into gate 4, the upstream, it's really advantageous. So you have to make some compromises, and I think he might have cut it a little bit too close.
See, the first time I've seen that move through gate 11, how he did the bogey, but then he went for the punt off the wall to just give him that extra burst of acceleration. So it'll be interesting to see how that stacks up in the split, even with the 50. Obviously, if the 50 remains, he's out of the running. But
There's another 2 seconds. Well, he was significantly up on the clock.
yeah, so he's still, if that 50 gets removed, he's 2
About
seconds
even,
up.
isn't he?
It was very touch and go though, gate 2.
And while he may know it was close, he's on the course. He doesn't know what the judges have given him, so he's still attacking just under the assumption that he's good to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Again, going with the punt option on the rock, the downstream punt. Very interesting. Maybe something we'll have to try out.
So for next year, when you come back for
Yes.
the World
Yeah,
Championships.
maybe that's what I need to do
I'll
to make
know.
the final.
I'll know that rock's there.
Well, going fast, but we have to see if the 50 is going to be appealed.
If it does, he'll be in with the shout. Not to win, but to do it right.
Difficult to read the emotions.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
See,
Look.
oh,
it's going so fast, but
here you go. That's very.
He's making the judges work hard for
Yeah.
sure.
The rules it can't be past your chin. So obviously that's very much on the limit.
There is video review though, so they'll be going back and looking at that a few different times, maybe from some different
I'm not
angles.
sure whether it's a you know, it's advantageous for him, but the camera is in the perfect angle to peel gate too.
Thomas Gocklin from Switzerland, part of the Kayaking P group, and has also been training frequently with the Geneva team.
So he has local knowledge because he obviously resides here, but just touched gate 2, I think, which is kind of fortunate.
Yeah, again, ducking it, trying to cut that line. A little different way of doing it. He opted to duck with the body rather than just his head. Cut it a little bit too close.
One of the paddlers, I believe, who has the best feeling for the water in his strokes and his turns. So it'll be interesting. So he's up on the split with a touch, which is quite an accomplishment.
And we saw him on his first run have a couple little areas of panic, it looked like, where he's a little bit offline. He managed to just pick everything up and save it whenever he needed to. So I think he'll be one to watch. Even with that touch up top, he'll be able to put something down on the
It was
bottom.
almost freestyle, wasn't it? He was going bobbling down with the water.
And he's just pinned that middle section. That was quite good.
Well, has some pedigree this year. Came third in Ivrea.
That's
Good save there. And
yeah, very good save. See the
would have been
balance.
beautiful. He was just a little too high, wasn't he?
The balance he is on control of his boat is quite impressive.
So even with that penalty, he's not very far back, and there's still lots of time to make it to the bottom. Very good job there.
Well, is the last 3 athletes to go. So far, it is Nicolas Péchier in first place with 101.95. Crucially, he also had 2 seconds penalties.
He's on track for a quick run here, even with the penalty.
Yeah, he got a bit held up on the wave out of 22, which would have costed him a little bit.
Where it's going to be, it looks like slipping down gradually, slipping down, unfortunately. No, it comes in 4th place.
Yeah, he did get hung up from the exit of 22 and then touch on 23.
So Nicolas Péchier knows he has a medal. So we have at least 1 French medal and only 1 French medal. Next to go is the great Slovakian athlete Alexander Slavkovsky, who won last week in Seoul.
Yeah, look at this slow-mo. It's really quite a dynamic move of his to actually get under there.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
No panic on the face, just
Good balance, good control.
deal with it.
Local supporters, no secret which country they're supporting.
Looking very relaxed in the start gate. I think he will have watched his teammates' video and know that there's some time to be made on the course, so he'll be pushing quite hard, I think, for this run.
I mean, no one's even come close to Benish's time of 98? 98? Yeah, and I mean, it was a 98 and he drifted over the finish line, so still plenty of room left in the semi for improvement. And if anyone can, Slavkovsky would be one of them. So far, not too bad, I'd say.
We saw him in the semi-finals, as we were pointing out, he looked effortless.
I think that's a part of his style. He's a very tall paddler as
But
well.
2 seconds
Good
up.
reach. So he makes everything look nice and easy, just taking long strokes, but it still propels the boat very quickly.
Yeah, sometimes you'll notice with his back, he gets a bit arched up and a bit curled up, but his strokes are just so effective it really doesn't matter.
Very fine skier as well.
Yeah.
Interesting to see. I think he's probably still ahead on the split coming down the middle
yeah,
section of the course.
I'd say definitely up.
And that was a very nice spin there. He was right on line, I think.
This is he'll be like 3 seconds on. Actually no, 8 more words, aren't they? Oh, I guess it'll remain a secret, won't it?
Good job on the cross. And there he kept his angle a little bit longer and bounced off the curl, but it set him up very nicely to come down through that
So
section.
we'll have to wait for where the last split's going to come in a minute.
Add to the suspense because I think this will be he'll definitely challenge the lead, I'd imagine.
I think so.
Well, it looks like it. The time to go for is 101.95, as you see in the graphics. Is he going to be a bit extra long?
Yes, second and a half. It's true.
There
That,
good
yeah,
run.
that's a good run. That's a good run.
Well, at
Yeah, he's
least
very
the
happy
silver
with
medal.
that.
He'll be happy. He better pick up his pedal. He might lose it.
I think he went out and executed perfectly on his plan. Looked like he put together a very solid run.
Yeah, no, well done.
Still not under 100 seconds, so it does leave some scope. All that Matty has to do is repeat what he did before. Sounds easy.
It really is impressive, you know, how, of course, to go to the Olympics, each country can field 1 boat in each class, and Slavkovsky being the peddler that he is, just wasn't quite good enough, and he is a really, really good peddler. So, you know, it just shows the depth in Slovakia.
Last to go is the Olympic boat for Slovakia, Mate Beneš.
Very experienced paddler.
He did have a killer of a season last year, so it was his race to lose a bit, I think.
And again, it was a different gate this time, but gate number 3 he might give a difficult decision.
Yeah, and pushed himself a little bit offline as well, so if he can have the remainder of the run like the first, I don't think that'll be an issue.
Slid a bit deep into that gate, I think, compared to others. He'll hurt his top split a bit.
Well, 1 second off the pace.
And he isn't quite tracking along those waves very nicely. He's instead of just pulling the boat downstream like Slavkovsky was, he's kind of correcting himself.
There, he knocked the pole and went the wrong way around it.
Yeah, now that's
very costly.
yeah.
2 seconds plus 3 or 4 seconds wasting, so he's going to have to really pull out an excellent last section.
Although I wouldn't be overly surprised if he you know, it's definitely possible of it. Whether he can or not is another issue.
Very, very funny thing about the sport. You can have an amazing run and go out even with the practice on the course, and it still depends. Every run's different, so I'm sure he won't be too pleased about that top section, but he is still looking good on the bottom here.
Well, didn't make the final last week at Sale, and 4 seconds penalty so far. Has to really perform the last.
Yeah, no, unfortunately this won't be it.
Well, the time is 102.37 to have a third place. Not even close, unfortunately.
And he's touched the last gate, unfortunately.
Slavkovsky takes gold for the 2nd week in a row.
Wow.
So I'm sure he's thrilled for that.
Yeah.
Looking very happy.
He had a good run. That was a class effort.
Looks like Benush is a little upset there. Not exactly the run he was hoping to go and put down.
So that's now Slavkovsky's moving up the table. He's now won 6 events in C1, and Tony Estangue is slightly ahead with 14. Martican 13.
All
so
right.
he moves into 3rd place with good company though.
Third place. Oh, it's true. There's quite a gap, isn't there?
Well, yeah, a huge gap.
I guess for many years it was just tip for tap between Estangue and Marticans 2-1.
So that's good news. Two World Cup wins in a row.
Yeah, definitely an interesting final. Fun to watch. A little bit of a spread in there, but definitely some good runs.
Well, here we go. Gold for Slovakia, Alexander Slavkovsky. France take the silver, Nicolas Peschier. And Japan take the bronze with Takuya Haneda.
Yeah,
Well,
Persher, you see a fast run, but unfortunately that penalty got him down.
Only one in the top 4 with a penalty though, so you can tell he was pushing.
Yep. There's Peter Kauser, our finalist you'll see in the K1 later today.
So when we left you a few minutes ago, Peter Kauser was out of the final and he had an asterisk next to his name. He's now in the final and he's second last to go, I believe.
Yeah, no, he 0.16 behind, so very little in it.
Next up is going to be another canoe event, and it's the C1 Women.
Yeah, we saw a very big mix of runs in the C1 Women semi-final. We saw some of them struggle, and others have some pretty nice runs down a tough course. But I think after a little bit of practice, should be pretty dialed in. So I think it's going to be a nice final to watch here.
Yeah, no, certainly some pretty big names to watch, such as Mallory Franklin, Jess Fox. They can always deliver when it counts. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
But Jess has won the World Championships last 3 years, and Mallory's often takes the silver, doesn't she? So
Yeah. Sort of the Estangue Martican dynamic, isn't it?
I knew Villarubia would argue differently.
Yeah, true, actually, true, yeah.
Right, let's see who we expect to do well. Just looking at the graphics here. And good to see some mixture of experience from Sklejake, new Lucy Priot. So there's all sorts of age ranges coming up there. Seeing a few more slow-mos of Slavkovsky and how he's almost taken to an art form.
Did a great job navigating a tough course, making it look easy.
So let's have a look at the World Cup standings. Well, look at that complete delight from Alexander Slavkovsky in the middle of your picture. The rain has stopped, which is good news, but probably not for that long because the clouds are looming.
It's been going back and forth all day.
Well, in the last... Here we go, World Cup standings for the men after 3 events, and we saw Alexander Slavkovsky was leading after 2. He's certainly leading a little bit more after 3 events, coming from Anze Bergic, Nicolas Peschier, and Thomas Köchlin is also in with the running. 2 more events to go for the rest of the season, and then after that, the last event is going to be double points, so it can really throw everything up. And it'll be interesting to see how many of the Olympians, if you win an Olympic gold medal, do you want to put your reputation at stake and risk it coming back and share everyone, or do you want to go and have a holiday for a few months, which you see most athletes do?
Yeah, it's a busy schedule in an Olympic summer for those guys, so it will be. Some of them I think will show up, but you're right. I think a few will definitely take some holidays and some well-deserved rest after.
Well, it's a low-risk approach, isn't it? It's a low-risk approach because you are the Olympic champion, and it's a bit of a bummer if you beat in the next event, I suppose.
So yeah, I guess that's the difference. Some paddlers are very good at sort of detaching from outcome and judging their run.
Let's go on to the World Cup standings, and Mallory Franklin is leading at the moment. Jessica Fox only competed in 1 event, so she had maximum points in in timing number 6, but it's very much a Brit-dominated first session.
Women are up in the top pool, getting ready for the finals here.
And here we go. This is reverse order they completed with penalties in the semi-finals, and it's Vizarova from the Czech Republic first to go. But there's Villarubler, Fox, Franklin, Woobs, who also will expect a medal, as Canoe did last week in Spain.
Saw lots of penalties on the first runs in the semi-final of the women's C1 category. So I think that's definitely an area where a lot of the women will be looking to improve. Certainly possible to do make a podium, as we saw with the C1 men with the penalty, but I think it's gonna be a shootout, and whoever goes cleanest will be certainly in a good position. That's
pictures of the large central tower. The French have built themselves an extraordinarily large tower, as they often do, to dominate the whole proceedings. But it's a great facility here. It's a really good course, and it looks like it's very fair. Teresa Vizarova from the Czech Republic is clearing her eyes, clearing her mind.
She'll be delighted to make the final. She is quite young. You know, it's going to be an awesome learning experience for her, because you do get a lot of added pressure when you make the final, especially when you're first off, because you know, you have to pave the way for everyone else.
Although you do get to see that brief moment of your name in first place if you go first off, so you can always take some comfort in that.
Yeah, very true.
So it's exactly the same course we saw for the men, and these women have already been down this course once before today, so it should be fresh in their minds.
Should be fresh in their minds, should be a bit of an advantage, but as we saw with the C1 men category, it doesn't always work out.
She's grappling with that white water there. She seems to be back online and doing well.
She did get boosted up pretty well.
Yeah. So far she's been quite tight on the poles, but it's working not too bad for her.
That was nice. She took a little push from the water and it pushed her right to the middle of that gate.
She's been switching. You'll notice her as she came to that up, she swapped her paddle around, so she paddles on the different side of her boat. She's doing it very nicely, because you have to be quite careful when you do it and how quickly you do it, because if you don't do it right, the white water will get on top of you.
Yeah, it's very important to try and keep the paddle in the water for as much as you can.
Oh, that's unfortunate. She'll come back from it though.
So what happened there?
Oh, it looked like she just sort of dropped an edge on the upstream current, and it just got the best of her.
Yeah, she was coming across the back of the hole, and it's not the most stable patch of water. There's lots of air going through there, so you can have your paddle in the water and it still doesn't feel like you're pulling on a whole lot, so it's easy to lose your balance, and it looks like that's what happened to her.
Yeah, she got around that pole, opted for the switch. Probably not a bad decision there, given that hole.
Again, she very timely for her switches. It was a risky spot to do it, just on the edge, and she managed to pull it off.
It's incredibly rare that they actually drop the paddle there.
Yeah, it would be. It would tend to be game over, but I think if you dropped your paddle. But no, they're all pretty good at it.
And they're quick with the switches too, so it's playing with fire sometimes, but they managed quite well.
An unfortunate touch there, but first down, see what happens.
Exactly that. First of the 10 competitors to go in the women's C1 final, coming to you live from Po, which is the National Training Centre, of course built in 2008.
There's a tired smile on her face. I think she's had a good run there. A couple penalty issues, but I think for the most part she was on track, except for that little bobble.
But
Yeah,
she recovered quickly there.
She's still very young, you know. There's a lot to learn. She seems pretty happy with how she's doing this. So that's
Claire
good.
Jacquet from France on the course.
Definitely one to watch. Any French girl on C1's always usually pretty onto it.
Especially training here lots of the time. Spend some time on the water, you get to know it. Get more comfortable with some of those moves across the holes.
She's going pretty good so far.
Well, just slightly off the pace. 1.26 seconds back, as you can see. But these athletes can't go down at any time. So obviously, this facility is open for leisure, rafting, and all sorts of other activities. So you very much have to book your place, don't you?
Yes. The French all have their own session where they're the only ones allowed to paddle, and that's quite good because it means you can set the gate combinations to what you want, and you know you don't have any other people bombing down your session. But no, so far look, she's going pretty well.
Yeah, it's nice to have a private session. Training in the week leading up to this race, it gets quite hectic out on the water, so you need to really take advantage of quieter times.
An unfortunate touch there is her bow bounced up, but she's going pretty well so far. Turning nice and early there to allow herself to get across. She said 9 seconds up. That's
On the third competitor, 10 here, but that's going to be painful.
yeah. With some of the girls coming in later, I think you want to just try to keep it as clean as possible because they're really class acts.
Yeah, she really tried to jump high into gate 17, and her bow really bounced up off of the curl. And unfortunately, knocked the pole, but she still had a nice, tight, aggressive line to it.
Oh, that yeah.
Well, we saw Jessica Fox take 6 penalty points, but she had perhaps a different turn of speed. Well, there's 8 penalty points now, which are expensive, especially with the level of athletes coming down.
Absolutely, yeah. She's had a great run except for those touches, so I think they're going to hurt her time.
Well, 3 athletes now have gone. Sorry, 2 athletes now gone.
Yeah, near enough 6 seconds up. Yeah, interesting to see if that will stand or not that time.
We've got a lot of good paddlers still to come. Some more.
Including Victoria Wolfhard, who was it last year, the year before, she switched to C1, a very accomplished K1 paddler. And you know, if you have that type of hat, you're doing something right.
Exactly, yeah. It's she just shows how good she is on the water. Doesn't really matter which boat she's in, she's still going to be a competitor.
Yeah.
Eddies up at the top here are very changed. The water boils up and drops down, so depending on the swell you get, those upstreams can be a lot faster, and it looked like she caught a little bit of a down swell when she was going to the first upright. It might have cut some of her speed.
Tight line out of there, but she's made it work. Not too far down on the split, to be fair. You know, the bottom's still a lot of her run to go. She can easily take it back for the lead.
Oh, good save there. She used a backstroke to push herself down through 10 and cut off her speed over to the left, making it pretty tough for her, and she did a great job correcting that, managing to avoid the pole. It's always tough to stay away from those poles, doing spins and moves like that where you don't have them right in your sight. So it takes a lot of good control and feel to know where the pole is going to be.
Yeah, she crossed the back of that hole very nicely. Just used her edge and kept the boat flat then, and yeah, popped across. 5 seconds up. It's not bad. Bit low into there. That will have costed her a bit of time, unfortunately, but wait and see if it has an effect on her final time.
That's, I think, one of those areas where the women who don't switch might have a bit of an advantage. She got a little turned up in the eddy in the time it took her to switch sides she was paddling on, whereas other paddlers who could continue on the offside be able to just carry the boat straight to the gate.
I think she, there you go, picked up.
Picked up a couple touches. Still going to be a very fast time, I think.
Well, I think so. It's time to go for is 1:32, so it looks like she's going to be significantly ahead of that.
She will be. That may well be. Wait and see,
Putting a
but
strong push on for the finish.
may well be a medal winning time. 6 seconds.
Not happy with those touches, I don't think.
Must be a perfectionist.
So the equipment, obviously they're using the same course. Are they using lighter boats or are they using different forms of boats?
Same boats, same weight. They all have to be 8 kilograms, but they're going to be different levels of volume. So depending on the size of the paddler, they'll cut it down. So the smaller paddler's going to have a little less volume in the boat, so it gets the same type of control depending on, regardless of the size of the paddler.
Martina Sadkova from the Czech Republic.
And probably another important point is that obviously you see they're using pedals. The size of the blade on the pedal changes depending on the paddler's strength as to you know what they can handle. Like these girls are probably more likely to have slightly smaller pedals, as with the men you've just seen, they'll have much bigger blades because they're just obviously stronger.
Yeah, it really depends on the paddler. If you have a blade that's a little bit too big, it makes it really difficult to pull in some sections. So it's nice to have something that's the right size for you, and you can always count on it working for you the right way.
And I guess that will change from the age of 14 to 20 to 25.
Absolutely. Yeah, big shift.
You're coming down the other end of the curve. Are you getting smaller?
Not yet, but we'll see over time. I hope not.
She did that quite well actually. I thought she might have botched it, but she pulled it back. Oh, this is
rock push.
This is yep.
That was
Oh
good.
no, yeah.
Good save.
Well done.
Cut that one a little close. Almost got pushed down, but she managed to get her blade on the rock and force herself up to the eddy.
So we just know just about this course. It's all go, isn't it? So there's so many different sections you can mess up.
Certainly.
Yeah, the course designers have certainly done a good job with having a course that's non-stop. You can't really take a break anywhere down this run.
You know, it's certainly both mentally and physically tiring as you progress through your run.
And Nick Smith and Pierre Devereux from France. Nick Smith obviously from England. They've done themselves proud today. It really has sorted out the top athletes.
Yeah, no. I mean, Nick Smith, he's got a lot of experience behind him. He's currently a coach for Russia, but he was quite a good C1 and C2 paddler for many years. So you know, I'd always back them to be able to make a fairly good, fair course for all the competitors.
Obviously, Tim Bailey, Netton Stock, I have to thank him a little bit. She goes where the time's going to be. Well, it's not going to be the gold medal winning time. Can it be? No, not medal today, unfortunately.
No, she had those penalties and a couple issues on the middle section of the course, but it looks like she's happy and she got some great experience on a tough course today.
Yeah, once again, quite a young girl from the Czech Republic. You know, plenty ahead of her. Hopefully she takes something out of it and moves forward.
Well, next to go is Miriam Lascano from Spain, who medalled last week.
Yeah, she had a great weekend, the CO, and she had a great performance today earlier in the semi-final.
Really, that was her first ever medal, so that's possibly why she looks so delighted with the podium.
Fortunately picking up a touch there, but into the up very nicely. That up was good. Exit, tight exit. She getting a bit wayward here. Marginally up on the split. Seems to have pulled it back.
She caught a bad bit of luck there. That's sad. Again, like we were saying in the morning, that patch of water always shifts and changes. It looks like she caught the wrong swell and it just pushed her boat a little bit over offline.
That's yeah.
She's gone into that rock as well. A little higher up, but it's certainly going to throw you offline and take some time to get back on track.
Time to regroup, maybe a little bit with 4 seconds of penalties, but nothing out of it yet.
She a little bit low coming to the down on the right there, backed into the pole. Again, having some more trouble with the eddy lines, so I think she's got to refocus for the bottom here, keep the boat flat and running, try and have a strong finish.
You know, it would appear that the run's starting to get on top of her a little bit. Hopefully she can, as you say, pull it back. But, so far going good down the bottom. There's quite nice. Oh, touch.
Expensive now with 8 seconds of penalties.
Oh, that's yeah. She'll want to get out of there quick, smart.
She went straight into that rock and killed all of her speed, so that's going to be...
I think she may well be visiting the boat fixers later today.
Yeah, the boats are pretty strong, but still made of light materials, and when you run into things,
I think
hit rocks, they
yeah,
definitely break.
very strong, but quite brittle. You know.
Well, not the day. 10 seconds of penalties. Let's see. Can't see any evident damage on the boat. I guess it's quite a good way to find out.
It really, yeah, it's quite a substantial hit.
Yeah, it is a fairly sturdy part of the boat. They're built to take a little bit of abuse, but definitely not the ideal way.
Canoe Villarubla, who won in Spain last week. She won here in Po last year.
A little bit tight there on gate 4. Not bumping into the pole.
She looks like an acrobat there, doesn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. Does a great job ducking the poles and snaking around them.
Oh, there's
another one.
Yeah.
looks like a cheap touch.
Again, just a tough section to be right where you want.
She looks like she's in such a hurry. Sometimes there's a bit of careless touch now.
Yeah, she's certainly pulling hard. I think she saw the other times in the semi-final, and she knew what she was capable of, and she's really going to put down a fast run. But sometimes when you do that, it's easy to get thrown off track.
Well, there'll be some support for her here, just across the border in Spain. And clearly they train here, as we mentioned before, frequently.
Well, I mean, it's only 4 hours to their home course, so I mean, it's just pop over the mountain and you're there.
Nice job with the direct there. Timely switch, and she's coming with a lot of speed. She's not sliding, she was coming down from on top, so that will help get into the eddy.
But picking up quite a lot of penalties, unfortunately, and she was 6 seconds off the pace. So even without the penalties, she's not the top dog at the moment.
Yeah, it's a shame because she's had some really nice lines. It's just staying off those gates is very important, especially in a tight field.
Oh, she got a bit stuck there. Made it work though.
Well, coming down over the line, the time to go for is 1:26. It's going to be close.
Yeah, well, there you go. She's one of the few very strong C1 women. You know, she's got very good technique behind her, and you know, not bad physical prowess either. So
It's forced their way over the last 3 or 4 gates into contention. There's 4 athletes to go, so there's no guaranteed medal yet. And with the quality of athletes in front of it, it's going to be very difficult.
yeah, no, it'll be interesting.
Jess Fox, who is next to go, will probably be aware of what's happened, although the crowd weren't giving you much encouragement. So it's always better when you have a Frenchie before you.
You know, Jess Fox is pretty unflappable, I'd say.
Well, number 1, you can see from her number, she chose not to take part last week in Iseo, so it's a case of how will she perform. In Ivrea she won the first of the year, and she's winning. I think she's won 13 World Cup events so far, and is the world champion for the last 3 years. But it's a bit of touch now.
Yeah. No, she speaks very good French, so she's understandably spent a lot of time on this course. So yeah, it's not a home course advantage, but as you see, she's certainly going good.
A couple touches up top, and I think that after her first run she was quite fast, but that was what kept her from being in the lead after the semi-final. So I think she'll be looking to go clean for the rest of this run.
So far she's fine. See if she can hold it together. She's very young, but not very young, but you know, 20s. But she's very experienced, being you know, an Olympic medalist when you're just a teen.
Yeah, and she's very comfortable with both sides, paddling lots of kayak as well, so you'll see her switch, and you don't see any side that's a little better than the other with her.
Well, it's still close there. You're 1.84 up. We did see Canoe Villarubla take another 2 seconds of penalty, so perhaps she has that to play with.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of the run. She's certainly a class act. Well, she comes from a pretty good gene pool, doesn't she? Her father, Richard Fox, who was consecutively world champion for 10 years in kayak.
Ooh, really nice up there. Gate 22.
Well, time to go for 1:25. But what's she going to put down? It's certainly going to be easily in first place. It's going to be enough, though. It's enough for a medal. Just in case.
4
there's
seconds.
3 athletes to go.
It was quite a quick run, but those touches, I think she's leaving
she's
it a
left
little
something out
close.
there.
Yeah.
Whereas, in fact, it's not a medal guaranteed yet. The 3 athletes to go. 2 of them vastly experienced and a Frenchie.
Mm.
Took really good advantage of the water there. Let it push her right to the upstream, and all she had to do was take a stroke out.
She's a great advocate for playing with the water, isn't she? For using the water. This is the fun part, and the business part will come tomorrow. Marilee Franklin, twice vice world champion, also very at ease in a K1.
Yeah, someone who really just makes it look quite easy and effortless when it's really, really not.
Yeah, really nice at the top there. I quite liked how she switched in between gate 2 and 3. She did a turn on her left, and then as the boat was kind of popping out of the water to go to the next gate, she switched and didn't miss anything. I think that was really well done. Opting for a little tight line there as well.
Screw.
5 seconds up almost.
That is incredible. Almost wonder was there a technical error.
No, I don't think so.
No,
Very
she's
long
flying down the top.
angles, isn't she? Like some of the top men.
Yeah, very smooth paddler as well.
She's quite a tall girl too, so she has pretty good reach.
She does a good job keeping the blade in the water, keeping pressure on it, keeping a nice flat boat, which is very important, I think, on a course like this with lots of shifting water.
She took that a bit much. Bit of a sloppy touch there. It just looks like she's centering herself though, getting back online, carrying on. But then again, she's still well up.
Yeah, lost a little bit of time with that.
But crucially, though, she had the calmness to recenter and come back into it.
Yeah, she wasn't panicking. She didn't do anything too drastic. She just kind of waited, got the gate, got back on track. And I think that's something that you'll see the more experienced paddlers are better at doing.
So far, Jessica Fox is leading with 1:21. Marilee Franklin is the 3rd last competitor to go.
And I think we may well have a change of lead, or at least one challenging it.
A big gap to 2nd place, 1:25.44. So 1:21 to go for. Switching, pushing.
She'll be second.
As so often with these two, just into 2nd place. So Jessica Fox now has a medal. Marilee Franklin looks like there's a few regrets out there.
Very English way of hers.
Like the Queen almost.
Yeah, I know, yeah, very graceful. Nearly as graceful as the paddling.
I think she's born in Windsor, which is not too far away from where the Queen resides. There's
Right.
possibly some local knowledge of it.
Yeah, that was her. That was, I'd say, the one issue she had on her run there, gate 15.
And
One of the best tops I think we've seen so far for the women.
She'll know it too. Another British girl.
Another mate, Kimberly Woods, had a dodgy season a couple of years ago, but was back again last year. And again, another often on the medal podiums, often close in the K1.
Good control through the top section.
And Kim's been on the British team for a long time also. Watching when she was in Cardiff, when she was a 16, 17-year-old. Well, 2 seconds up on the split just shows they're faster and faster.
Yeah, the British have lots of experience paddling on big whitewater now, so.
She picked up a touch though, so there's her lead gone.
Doesn't look like there's a bit of breeze out there if you look at the
Yeah,
trees.
no, I'd agree.
A little low there on the upstream. The course is very interesting. The top is super quick, so you need to be quite early for all the gates and just really make sure you're online. And then you have a little bit slower, shifty section that she's just come through in the middle before the steep drops at the bottom. So it's not only do you have to be thinking about the tough course and the gates out there, you also have to be thinking about how the water changes and what it's going to be doing.
Well, off the pace there, you get 2 seconds back.
Yep. And she's made life a little bit hard for herself with that entry. Then again, as you said earlier, she's a very experienced paddler, you know, got a lot of accomplishments, so she could easily pull it back. Nearly botched it, but she pulled it back. She's going not too badly.
Well, second to last competitor to go. And the first two are in a second of each other.
No, unfortunately she won't get the lead, but I think her entry into the last up cost her a few seconds too.
Yeah, she wasn't really coming down on it. She was more sliding from the side. Didn't allow her a great approach.
No, bang, bang, bang. Jess Fox in your picture has at least a silver medal. Maoli Franklin has at least a bronze medal. And
Oh,
no, careful.
yeah, no, but fiery.
Yeah, you can just see how much they're going out and they're putting everything on the line. So when it doesn't work out,
it's whack your pole out the way. Is that?
Yeah, no, that you cannot intentionally displace the poles, otherwise you get a 50.
Arguable. And that is Lucy Priou from France is last to go. So local knowledge isn't going to come through, and can she hold the pressure?
So far, she's going pretty strong.
She had a fantastic first run, didn't she?
Yeah. But moment.
She's got a nice cheering section running down the course with her, and that always helps. Good run, bad run. Towards the bottom, when you're feeling a little bit tired, if you have a big group of people yelling at you, you just pull a little harder. Sometimes that's the difference maker.
So far, going well.
Yeah, she's doing a great job on the top part of this course. Really bang on in her lines.
Well, it's all or nothing. It's a chance to make yourself a local hero.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Another paddler, one of the few women who doesn't switch. She's got a very strong offside stroke though, and she seems to do quite well.
That could be expensive. A 2-second penalty. And 4 seconds down.
Just a little bit offline. And again, that holds. Not a large margin for error in that move.
Well, even with 4 seconds of penalties, she's still only a second down.
She did a good job with the cross on her offside on the first run, but having some issues on this run here.
Well, time to go for 121 for gold and 125 for bronze.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think she will just be outside the medal stand today.
Ooh, just dodging the rock with her bow.
No, would that be a case of the pressure getting to her? Because we saw her really fine run on the semi-finals.
Could be a little combination of that and the fatigue.
No.
It is difficult too when you're last off because you know what everyone's done, so you know a lot more pressure on you.
14th World Cup victory for Jess Fox, 22 and 6 days old.
Yep, no, well done.
Maoli Franklin taking a silver, she so often does, and Nuria Villarubla also staying in the medal. So this class is becoming more and more competitive.
Yeah, I think we see that with every race. It just gets a little bit closer, and it's good to see.
Interesting, our top 3 ranked paddlers are all standing on the podium in rank order.
That's good to see there's some ranting. I suspect it's not going to be the same thing that happens in the males. Guys, a lot of work today. Thank you so much for stepping in and giving us your expert knowledge. So Patrick Washer from New Zealand, Spencer Pomeroy from New Zealand, and the good news, if you like New Zealand, is you're going to have a good next hour or so, because we have big figures in the background. Finn Butcher and Mike Dawson are just about to step on the microphone. So thank you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
So here's the official classification. It is Jessica Fox takes the gold medal for Australia, Mallory Franklin takes the silver medal for Great Britain, and Nuria Villarubla takes the bronze medal for Spain. Gentlemen, please have a seat. Welcome. For the first time in 2016.
Yeah, back in the World Cups, they're kicking off, 2016, the last one of the first 3.
And you've been here a long time. You were here last week as well?
Yeah, I was. Came here last week, and we skipped Sao World Cup. Went to Raya and then skipped Sao and came here, and Finn and the rest of the Kiwi crew went off to Sao and ripped it up.
Including Finn, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, missed the semi-final yesterday, but yeah, I'm happy.
You're in good company.
Yeah.
So far we've seen some exciting races with Jessica Fox and Alexander Slavkovsky, who are two world beaters winning. Are we going to see the same thing in the men's? Let's look at the final and who stands out. Well, it could be pretty much anyone stands out, I think, can't it?
Yeah, if you look at the final, the top 10 there after the semi-final, it's pretty stacked, and you got a lot of French guys that spend a lot of time here as well training. You got Sam, who's just lives over the border in Spain, Crespo as well. Gregor, I know he's spent a bit of time here in the winter months, and Kauser as well. So it's basically anyone's race. It's going to be a good one, and I think there'll be some fast times. I wouldn't be surprised if the time drops down a few seconds in the final.
So they all know each other. Will it be interesting? Well, I guess the tactics will play out in the next few minutes. But are they the type of characters? You obviously know them very well. Are they all? Let's just go for it. First of all, let's look at the standings of the women after 3 events, and it is Malu Franklin leading from Kimberley Woods. Jess Fox, who's only competed in 2 events, so 60 for the winner, is fighting it up. They'll have to see after her Olympics if she decides to go for the 2 last events, which are Prague and Tatsan. Bit artificial this year because quite a few athletes, the top athletes who are going to Rio, are sitting 1 or 2 events out, and some athletes are having a chance to shine, and maybe when they come back from Rio they might decide to miss a couple of events as well.
It's always an interesting season. In the Olympic year, a lot of athletes choose to skip races, and there's also a lot of training camps in Rio, so the travel's pretty hectic, and people trying to cut down on that and just get some training time at home and time at home. So you do see a lot of athletes missing races here and there.
Yeah, you sometimes see some athletes that won't usually be on the World Cup circuit come and shine because for their respective teams they're actually extremely fast but don't really get a chance to race. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see.
Do some of the athletes, because they've been going to Rio 4 or 5 times, do they actually keep a boat out there? Or is it always the case, it's like your violin, you want to keep it with you?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have left boats out there. I know Luca from our team has left her boat out there. And then we see the start list.
We hear the World Cup standings. It's always confusing. Once we understand it, they move it. So far, Darius Pobiela is leading, but again, this is deceptive for the very reason we've just been explaining.
Yeah, and Darius is missing from this top 10 final here, but and also Veet Prindish, who's in second place, is missing, so it is leaving it pretty open for a few other people to jump up the ranking.
This is what we're going to talk about. This is the final with only Sebastian Schubert and Peter Kauser can't claim a massively strong local connection.
Yeah. We got the Argentinian lad Thomas Bersinger on the start line now, getting ready. He's a local boy, spends a lot of time training here, and is one to watch. I think he's going to put down a solid run on this technical course for the rest of the field to compete with.
With a smart new boat.
Yeah, smart, bright boat there. You saw a lot of people getting caught out by gate 2 in the first runs, and you see there Thomas as well just picked up a little touch. He's got plenty of places to make up that 2 seconds on the rest of the run.
I think we only saw 2 touches make it through to the final for these K1M men. So in the semi-final there was 8 of them were clean into the final. So I think touch is going to be pretty costly.
And Thomas, I think he's made both the finals this World Cup season.
Yeah, he's usually pretty smooth and through the middle of the gates and keeps the boat running really well. So I think that suits this course.
Yeah, a lot of people say that the race really starts at this bridge that he's just about to go under about halfway down, because by that stage you're hurting a lot, the lungs are burning, and you're moving into a real technical section. At the bottom of the course you see the water's quite powerful there, there's a lot of stoppers, a lot of waves hitting the boat and slowing you down. Seems to be making really good progress through this section. Apart from that touch he just picked up.
The combination 17-18, is it often set for you to practice that? Is it fairly typical?
Yeah, it is. The gates are often in similar places in training, and 17-18 is quite a common move. Just the way the course is set up. He's pushing to the finish. 2 touches and a few little mistakes. I'm not sure that's going to be the winning run. 98-49.
That would have put him into 13th place.
Really competitive time, though. 94. Which is faster than anyone in the semi-final.
Yeah, Sebastian Cobo came down clear. The first 3 were clear, and he came down in 95.74.
Yeah, so you're going to see the guys pushing a lot harder in the final run and trying to get that time down. And we just saw Thomas there running a 95 and a 94 in the fastest, and the semi was 95. So
Well, Boris Nevu is capable of doing anything he wants on this water, really. Disappointed to miss out on the final, I believe, last year. I
Yeah.
wonder if he's digested not going to Rio yet.
yeah, it was pretty brutal for him, I think. But in saying that, when you watch the selections for the French, it was really hard in between him and Combo. They're both
600ths of a second or something.
Yeah, it was so tight, and they both raced exceptionally well. When he just came out on the wrong side of the bubble. But talented paddler, won a lot of races. I actually raced with him as a junior back in the day.
And nearly competed in Marseille last week.
Yeah, but
Wednesday,
his wife gave birth to their second child, so he had a little bit of a distraction in the middle of the week and had to go home.
Fair enough.
Pretty amazing distraction, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
He'd be stoked.
Well, look at that, 3 seconds up already.
Yeah, this is a guy that knows the course really well. He's a really talented paddler, and he delivers in the final runs, and you're seeing that right now. Super smooth, super fast, great boat control through that middle section, and opting to go to erect on the tricky spin move.
Pulled that off really nicely too. He often doesn't look like he's trying that hard, but believe me, he's really pulling on those blades and keeping the speed on the boat, which is key.
Oh, just getting stuck in that hole there, yeah. Losing fractions of second, and that will slow him down, but he's still off the poles, and boat's moving again.
Still 2.2 up as well. We were bursting ahead a touch at that point.
Well, you can understand the popularity by the hundreds of people with their umbrellas cheering him on.
Yeah, the weather here is up and down, isn't it? And today we've got a lot of rain.
Mainly down.
But it hasn't seemed to cool down the competition because these guys are firing it up. Makes his way, nice clean run, 88, 89. This is going to be a very competitive time.
Well, it's going to move into first place easily, just in case it's
94.
going to be good enough for the rest. Nice. What does that mean?
Yeah, I think he's happy with that.
Yeah, it was a really fast run time, and we saw him losing that fraction of seconds in the middle, just getting stuck in that stopper after the bridge, which would have cost him almost a second, I'd say. But
Yeah, I
very
think the rest of
competitive
it was spot on. Really, here we're seeing him getting stuck a little bit in the replays.
It's amazing technology that 2 seconds after the race has finished, we've already have cuts of his replays.
Yeah, it is. It's an incredible way. A few years ago, you'd have been cutting film up for that.
Well, there's the SLS, super slow motion SLMs. Samuel Announce, who also knows how to fly.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time here. He lives just over the Pyrenees in La Salle, so only 4 or 5 hours drive, and I know that the Spanish are coming here a lot for training camps.
Charles, right.
Yes. Very fast top section. Sam's a pretty dynamic, nippy paddler. He's not afraid to go under the poles and search for a time where a lot of people maybe opt for a more conservative approach.
We're slightly down, but you can see a huge contrast in style, can't you, between him and Boris? It's like a different world.
Yeah, it is. Boris is running quite a smooth, nice pace, and Sammy's getting under the poles and throwing the boat around a lot. But we saw Boris had a few problems at the bottom, so to be 1.8 down at the top, I think if he can hold it together through the bottom section, they'd be about on par. Oh, it's super smooth through that.
Yeah, he's picked up a lot of time on Boris through there. See what the split says.
Yeah, there we go. He's made up 2 seconds on Boris in that one move.
Ooh,
Exceptionally fast around that gate.
it's radical.
See some of the guys just trying to get only their head in the gate, and it's a risky game because if you've got half a head and you're going to pick up a 50-second penalty.
Sammy's known for trying to get just his head in there.
Well,
But stuck on
just
that last
succeeded.
one.
So, Mike, with your mother being a judge, was that drilled into you really early?
No. Got to push the boundaries, and look at that run time, 93.5.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
What a run. Incredible run. We said it before, you're going to see the times coming down as these guys push hard.
He's happy.
Oh. Hey, look at his fins on his boat. But
That'd
no Spanish boat in Rio.
No Spanish K1 in Rio, massive surprise. Yeah, the Spanish guys had a hard task in London and then again at the Europeans, and just came out on the wrong side of the result list and didn't manage to qualify a K1, but it doesn't say anything about the calibre of their paddlers. They're exceptionally fast, and see the two guys that are in the final today will be going quick.
Jan Crespo next to go up. Any news from Martin Hermans? Because didn't he book the place in the Europeans, but then I think he had to finish in the final somehow.
Yeah, he had to make top 12 here or so, which he unfortunately didn't do, so it's up to the Dutch Federation if they want to send him. Otherwise that spot will go back into the pool, and I guess we'll go to Sweden or Hungary.
So there's always a winner for every loser. Well, that's not a good start.
Just keep going and act like it didn't happen.
Yeah, so you see the pole head off his boat and bounce around the wrong side of his head, so
It's not even close, that, was it?
It's just unlucky right there. Tricky move, and he's just trying to run it so tight and so fast, and unfortunately he just knocked it with the front of his boat and it put the pole on the wrong side of his head, which is a 50-second penalty.
I think that's what these guys are going to have to do, to be honest, run it tight and run it fast. I mean, it sounds simple, but
We've seen so many, well, from an outsider's point of view, cheap penalties on gate number 2.
Yeah, it's tricky. The water's so fast there. It's also really shallow, so if you start falling into the pole, you can't do a whole lot about it.
also you might see a few nerves, like second gate, you're not into your run yet, you haven't wound things up, just starting off, so I mean it can catch you out when you're not really ready for it.
It's unfortunate for Crespo because he's a super talented paddler and he definitely can throw down some fast run times, and we just saw that mistake at the top. It's kind of lost his focus, as you'd imagine, because the run's over and he hasn't been able to hang on to the bottom. But there's no doubt we'll be seeing him later on in the season.
4 athletes gone so far in the final. Familiar voices on commentary: Mike Dawson from New Zealand and Finn Butcher from New Zealand.
Don't think that 208 seconds is going to cut it, but
Well, it speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone, and another one of those things. But he made the final there. Is it 88 if you started out? Something huge number.
And up next we've got the young Slovak Jakub Grega Kubo, talented young paddler, picked up a silver medal in Sao last week, I believe.
Yeah, he was pretty fast in Sao, and he can absolutely throw down a run, so he's got no fear, he's always stoked with life, and he's pretty
And the juniors
he's pretty quick.
The juniors were happy to say goodbye to him, weren't they?
Yeah, he's pretty dominant in the juniors the last few years. I think he won in 2013,
Here's one.
2014 maybe.
Anyway, let's see how he
Yeah.
is. Still just 19 of it.
Just 19 years old.
Oops, again.
Was that a touch? I don't think that was a touch.
They were very, very close.
He was tight.
Maybe his long hair is going to touch a couple of gates. There you go, touch on gate 4. Unfortunate. But he's fast and he's talented, and like Finn said, he has no fear on the water. See him going for the fast lines, the tight lines, pushing pretty hard.
Hasn't had an easy week because he had to go through the second round in the heats.
Yeah, he was. We were talking actually after our first runs because we were both in the second round. He's saying that was one of his worst runs he'd ever had down the course, but it was still a lot of fun. Pushing through the middle section. He's the Olympic boat for Slovakia, so he'll be one to watch in Rio in a few weeks' time.
That was quick through that section. He was only 0.6 down on that first split with the touch, so still in touch there, 0.8 or 0.9.
Yeah, we saw Hernandez have some incredible upstreams down the bottom, so if Kubo's going to mix it up with him, he's going to have to push it hard all the way to the finish. And he is. He's going good. He's going really well. See how the boat's just moving down the river. It's running a straight line. There's not a whole lot of turning, and really just the head around the gate.
Well, you can see the 4 points of penalty might move against him. 98 is third place.
92.8
Super
plus
fast
4.
time.
So he'll be stoked with that run time. A bit gutted with the 2 touches, but just shows the calibre of a 19-year-old to be throwing down those times.
who's in provisional third place so far. Samuel Hernandez, who we saw in the middle of a picture, who is leading with 93.54, no penalties. 5 athletes gone, 5 to go, and the only German in the final is Sebastian Schubert, who was pretty much on his day was unbeatable, especially in his Augsburg course.
Yeah, Shuby's he's a really talented paddler, and this is the first time we've seen him in the final this season. I think he really focused on trying to get a good result here. He was a bit upset to not make the final in the other 2 races, but he's got a good attitude and he's a really talented and strong paddler. Interesting to see what he throws down here. Let's go Germany.
Every single one of these guys can throw down an absolutely blistering run. You just have no idea who's going to win.
Yes, that was exceptionally fast and really tight exit. You see how he's just moving straight to the next gate, no time wasted.
And he didn't really pay for it. Other than that, he held it together really well, squeezing that tight exit.
Well, it's half a second up, just shows how fast he is from the local guys.
Yeah, we saw Boris had a 22 first split on the top, so he's a little bit slower than Boris, but Boris had a few touches, I think, at the bottom of the course. No, he didn't. Yeah, that little mistake in the middle. Shuby's pushing hard. He's a fit guy. He definitely can push hard top to bottom and keep the boat on line and keep the speed on. Really nice through gate 14, 15. Cooper giving us away.
Where he's dropped back, he's lost a second, hasn't he? Now half a second off this.
Yeah, you just saw that the other boys didn't give as much space around those 2 upstreams there, and Schubert just gave them a little bit more of leeway. It's a little bit more conservative, but it might pay off down here. Really tight in and out of that last upstream. Pushing down to the finish, it's going to be tight.
Well, it's going to be very close. Is he going to have medal position? Well, so far second, and look, he's happy.
That was a good run, really solid at that top, like that top section we were just talking about. He really attacked it and then kept it going all the way down.
No major mistakes. He's pretty quick, hanging on to Semi there.
Next up, Etienne Dye. I watched him a little bit in the last few years. I haven't seen him so well on the start line of the Olympic final. Obviously, he looked like he had a major nervous session. But in the last couple of days, walking around the course, he's been very focused.
Yeah, he's the one to watch. He's got a unique style and he's not afraid to throw down. And unfortunately, we haven't seen him too much on the circuit since London. In 2012, he was basically unbeatable the whole season, and then in the Olympic final made a bit of a mistake. But he seems to be back and looking forward to seeing what he can put down today on a course that kind of suits him.
Did well in the French trials.
Yeah, that's one thing. To be on the French team, it just automatically shows that you're a really good guy. Yeah.
That didn't look pretty.
Tight.
Exceptionally tight. He's definitely taking no prisoners as he goes down the course. Just going for it.
So they're giving a 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say in 2012, I think he won with a touch on this course, so he was absolutely shredding in 2012. But I don't think he's going to win with
No, because that was
a 50.
If you guys say it's close, that means normally it's an obvious 50. It's because you're so polite with your mates. It means no, go home.
Well, you never know what the judges are going to say, eh? But yeah, when he's on it, and he's exceptionally fast and not afraid to get under those poles and sweep the upstreams, which is what you got to do nowadays because everyone's going for that. And if you're running conservative lines, you're not going to be quick. Picking up a 2-second penalty there.
Most of you guys, if you meet you in the street, you know you're top athletes because you've got certainly a set of shoulders on you. But he's fairly slight, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a little fella.
Yeah, he's super light. He can whip that boat around pretty quick. But I'm sure his power to weight ratio is pretty strong. Pretty good.
Yeah, he may be light, but I've seen him in the gym in Australia and he throws a few iron bars around.
Okay, well, timing wise is good.
96.
No. Not even a smile for the camera. Well, 3 athletes left, and they're all exciting prospects. Matthew Beers, was he disappointed and miss out? Well, I guess obviously disappointed in the top 3 for France. He's not going to all the events.
Yeah, I think Matt was pretty upset at the selection race, but he seems to be back on form. He was really good in the first races of the season, and he gets that chance to race a lot of World Cups because France has 4 boats in the event. And
Yeah, I think he was saying he could race all the World Cups this year, but just no Europeans and obviously no Olympic games. But
he won the pre-Olympics late last year in Rio, so
Could have done well.
yeah, he could have done well. That's the nature of the Olympic thing, the Olympic movement. With only 1 boat per nation going, is you're missing a lot of these top athletes. And if he was there, he'd definitely be one to watch out for. And on his home course here, I think he's going to be searching for something exceptionally fast.
yeah, I remember watching his semi-final, and it was scratchy the whole way down, but he was really, really fast. So if he can keep it smooth and improve some of those little mistakes from his first run today, then
Well, we saw in Liptovsky last year that he can be frighteningly fast when he wants to be.
Yeah, he can be quick, and he said that after the selections he changed the size of his boat and the layout so that he was having a bit of trouble with it, and now he seems to be pretty comfortable in his new one.
We saw in the first bit he was up by 0.6 of a second. Let's see how he continues.
Very smooth through there. He's a really nippy, dynamic paddler, but also runs very clean lines and tight lines.
Over 1 second up now.
Yeah, if he can hold this to the finish.
that was nice through there.
Samuel Hernandez is trying to look beautiful.
Yeah, he saw that he took the tight exit in the semi as well out of that upstream, and seems to have pulled it off all right there. I think it's quicker out of that upstream if you can exit out on the back of that hole, but it's super risky.
Very tight in and out of the last upstream.
Well, there's
This is
a
gonna
lot
be
of
nice.
people shouting on now. Times to go for 93.54 is first, and third is 95.2. Just missed out.
What a run though, he can take a lot away from that run. That's how we like to see him paddling.
It's interesting to see how the paddlers react, because Sebastian Schubert, when he came across the line, you think he's won Olympic gold, and Biazizu, he's just been thrown off the course.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't have exceptionally good water at the bottom. Just kind of got caught up in the eddy there, and maybe that cost him a fraction of a second. It's so tight that a small change in the water can mean the difference between first and second between those guys.
Samuel Hernandez now has a medal. 2 athletes to go of the 10 in the K1 final from Pole. Next to go is Peter Kauser, who was the best, arguably, had a very nasty injury, and is now, well, he won the World Cup standings last year. And just sneaked in, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he was pretty lucky to be in the final today.
Interpret it as you like.
But he's on form. Cow's is one of the guys to watch. He's so smooth in the water, really talented, kind of a natural paddler, and also incredible power to weight ratio. You see when he puts his paddle in the water and pulls, shoots across the water.
Doesn't he often win the sprints in these style events in Pole?
Yeah, he can take
But
seconds out of people over 30
look, he's
seconds.
someone taking 2.3 seconds out of him. He's slightly
Yeah,
back
that-
at the moment. And a
that
2-second
touch.
penalty to add on.
And he really loves this course, so if he gets on a good run, I think he will be quite unstoppable in the bottom part of the course where he gets really technical, because that's where he comes into his own. Keeps the boat speed on his yellow machine. You see it there, super light work of that little combination.
So much speed off the back of that hole. Just using his edges really nicely.
You see that Kauser often opts for running the boat around the upstream and just conserving the momentum rather than going under the poles.
Sounds a bit windy in here, unfortunately. But here he goes.
Picking
There's
up another
another
touch.
2-second penalty.
It's just slipping away from him. He's not going to be stoked with that, but he's definitely one of the guys to watch, and he'll be in action in a few weeks at the Rio Olympics, representing Slovenia and trying to win one of those elusive medals. Crossing the finish line, 102.
Have you, your boat for Rio, is it out there or is it with you? Or?
Oh, it's on the racks. Just down at the bottom of the course.
Where'd you next go out?
We're actually heading back for a training camp next week. I think almost everyone's going down there. It's a lot of fun actually. Cool place. Course is really good.
Sebastian Combo, who this time last year was on his bicycle, organising everything here in the Po World Cup. Made it through difficult battle to go to Rio, and he's back in the game, isn't he?
Yeah, it's awesome to see him on such good form. He's a really kind of talented paddler and someone that we all love to watch because he does do some amazing things on the water, and you'll see it in a few seconds when he shoots down the course.
Well, last to go of the 10 finalists.
He's not afraid to move the boat around on the water and be nippy around the poles.
Like that was pretty quick, threw that up.
He stayed here last week instead of going to Sao for training, and seems to be paying off so far. I think he'll be up on the top split really fast.
Well, 1.5 seconds, wow, flying through. And the biggest crowd of the day are following him down.
He's a well-loved guy, a lot of local support and support on the circuit as well, so there's a big number of guys cruising down cheering him on.
And as with many of the finalists, a former world champion.
2007 world champion in Brazil when he was a young buck.
Yeah, just burst onto the scene in 2007 and then sort of struggled to make the team after that, which often happens in France. You have someone super quick and then can't make the national team again.
Boat's moving well through that middle section, running nice lines, and the water seems to be pushing it along nicely. Very fast in gate 17.
Yeah, just up on that second split as well, so if we can hold this together, he's on a flyer.
See, Hernandez is looking nervous at the bottom as he waits for the last starter to get to the bottom. Oh, very quick in and around that upstream, carrying a lot of speed out. That will help him get to the finish line fast.
You see the graphics, 93.54 for the win.
It's going to be tight. Third place.
Well,
Spain, France. And how was that for a high caliber final? A lot of good runs. See, almost the top 6 went faster than the winning semi-final run.
and I think most of the guys seemed to give it their best shot, didn't they? They didn't hold anything back.
No, they were going for it, for sure.
Yeah, I think in a final, this caliber of athlete, you can't hold anything back. It's got to be everything or nothing.
Well, here the classifications as shown. If Samuel Hernandez takes the gold just for Spain ahead of Mathieu Biazizou, they're calling it for France, and Sebastian Combo for France takes the third place with just Sebastian Schubert missing out this time.
You also see Kubo, Jakub Grega from Slovakia and Tomasz Businger, Argentina. Both had exceptionally fast runs, but just picking up those few time penalties, pushing them down the final result standings.
So we've seen some big victors today. We saw Slavkovsky, Fox and Hernandez. So they're all, I don't know if there's a Hall of Fame, but they'd all be up there if there was.
Yeah, it's awesome to see Hernandez on the top of the podium because it has been a rough time for the Spanish kayaks, missing out on that Olympic spot. And last year at the World Championships, he broke his paddle in the qualification and missed the semi-final, so he's had a bit of a run of bad luck, and now he's back on form, back on top of the podium and back where he should be.
Well, I think we're fairly close to coming to the end of the show today. So we've seen 3 semi-finals. I say thank you to Patrick Washer, thank you to Spencer Pomeroy, who came and talked all about the C1 categories. Finn Butcher, Mike Dawson, thanks so much for coming in today and expressing your views on how to go very, very fast on the water.
No worries.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's the best seat in the house. We're out of the rain. Watch the action.
It's lovely and warm.
Yeah, it's nice and warm in here.
So just seeing the the beauty of their actions in slow motion. If only they had this much time in real life to actually to make their decisions. This is the famous start and the World Cup standings after 3 events, with Thomas Bösinger leading the ball at the moment. You have 60 points for wins, so it's equivalent of 2 and a bit wins so far, making the final, as Matt pointed out a few minutes ago, with Vic Prindis up there. Darius Propeller not in action today.
Yeah, after the first 3 races, it's awesome to see Argentina on the top of the leaderboard and Vic Prindis.
We do have something quite important to tell you about the C1 ladies, with appeals and what have you. It looks like Jessica Fox has gone down to 2nd place. We'll actually show you that. I'm just hearing that from the officials, and Mallory Franklin was given the victory. Jessica Fox put down to 2nd place by over a second, so there's a surprise.
Yeah, it is a surprise so long after the results, but that's awesome to see. Mallory's going to be stoked to take the victory here, and Jess had a victory earlier. It just shows how tight the C1 women's class is getting between those top 3.
Yeah, tight even between the Fox family. You saw Naomi got a medal last week and Jess took one this week.
New World Cup standings. Mallory Franklin now leads with Jess Fox down to 4th place. So exciting stuff. It's all a case of, in an ideal world, you'd have split decisions, but that's not the case here because you need to review the videos from every single possible angle. So as long as the result is fair at the end, that's all we can hopefully give you. And that's the way you know when you enter the sport. They're the rules. Finn Butcher, Mike Dawson, thank you so much for coming in. I'm Matthew Layton. Tune in tomorrow. Go to Facebook. Go to Planet Canoe on YouTube. Follow all the athletes with their Twitter feeds on @PlanetCanoe. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow with the K1 Women's semi-finals in the morning, and then the C2s, and later lunchtime we're going to see the finals. Thank you for watching. See you soon.